From Williston, North Dakota to Caribou, Maine. From the UP in Michigan to a town called Hurricane. Let's ride. We want to ride shotgun with you for the next hour, talking trucking with Deaton and Doty. How's it going, everybody?
Good.
How you doing?
Good to have you.
Good to have the band back together.
That's right.
Yeah, we're good over here.
Band practice is on. Welcome, drivers. Welcome to episode 24. Thanks for joining us. I do want to say thank you for everybody for the cards and gifts and stuff that you've sent Tina and I and our family. We really appreciate it, and it meant a lot to us. So thank you for that, and it's great to be back. Joining us on this week's show, Ray, Jim Mackey, as always, Battle Kumar with Trucking Questions with Kumar, Trucking News with Mike Doty, and Wide World of Sports with Joel Howle, Florida Man update with Doty. Ian is off this week. He just bought a house, and it's his wife's birthday, so a little busy. Yeah. And then Ray and Jim Mackey will take out the show, Battling Kumar with Trucking Questions with Kumar. So with that, we started last week. A couple things I wanted to tell everybody, our listeners. So we had this fishing contest all year since April, Zach, I think. Yeah.
What fishing contest?
So we've got a lot of entries. What we're going to do is Matthew, my son's putting together a video that we'll throw up on the show next week. So you'll see everybody's entry, 5 or 10 minute clip. It'll show all the entries. And then we've got a couple judges that don't know. They know me, but they don't know anybody else. Not in trucking, and we'll have them pick a runner-up and a winner. $350 to the winner and $200 to the runner-up. So we will announce that. I don't know if it'll be next week's show, but we'll have the clip up next week, and it'll be shortly after that. So I'm pretty excited because we've got some really cool pictures that came in over the course of 24 shows. Also, let's see, what else? The Pickum Contest we started. I forgot. Week 1. So we didn't do the show, everybody knows, last week. So we skipped week 2 in the NFL, but we did the Pickum for every game the first week, and then we filled them out today for this week. So we haven't figured out what the prize is or what the pool is, but there will be something at the end of this. So with that, Joel, you want to let us know how we did?
Yes, sir, you bet. What's up, sports fans and truck drivers and dispatchers and the like? I missed you. All right, so as Russ said, going over to week 1 of the NFL results. And how we want to do this, Russ? Just go through each name, or do you want to congratulations to the winner?
Yeah, you do it however you want to do it.
All right. Well,
I have no idea
I've proven one thing. I'm not any better than all of you. So I went 7-9. Christian, help me out, buddy. 6-10. All right. I know
6-10.
He's loyal to his New York, New Jersey teams. Go Jets.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Russ, 8-7. Mike didn't play. He's going to play this week, right, Mike?
8-7. You mean 8-8?
8. Did I miss one? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Is even numbers. Oh, yeah, the Vegas game. Mike didn't play. Austin, 7-9. Jim Mackey, 9-6. Good job. Ian, 11-5. Zach, 11-5. Kumar, our winner, at 12-4. Doesn't even know what a football is.
For real? I see Christian over there just shaking his head.
He's a Bishop Sycamore fan.
And Joel, we did Mike.
You think the football's with his foot, and it's the wrong sport.
Mike, did I miss yours?
Yeah, I gave it to you. Mike he beat me. He was 9-7.
Mike was 13-3. Sorry, Kumar. No,
what did I go?
Wow.
He was 11-5. Mike was 9-7. Good job.
What did Mackey do?
Jim Mackey was 9-7.
I got beat by Mackey too. He doesn't.
Well, I didn't
watch
even hear.
football.
I didn't hear my score.
11-5.
What's this camera keeps cutting out?
I know.
That is 16 games. Okay. Moving. So the results for week 1. We will do week 3. We'll give you the results on that next week. In the NFL, just some side notes. Ben Roethlisberger, he got injured I really don't know the extent of it, and the Superdome caught fire. They put it out, so we're good to go there. Still 7 unbeaten teams. We got this week coming up. Do we want to go through? We got tomorrow night, Carolina at Houston.
Yeah, let's go through those real quick.
This Sunday, we got the Washington football team at Buffalo. We have the Bears visiting here in Cleveland. We have the Colts at Detroit. Indianapolis travels to Tennessee. The LA Chargers travel to Kansas City. There you go, Carol. New Orleans Saints at New England Patriots. Atlanta Falcons at Christian's New York Giants. Cincinnati Bengals at Pittsburgh. Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals at Jacksonville. New York Jets at Denver. Miami Dolphins travel to Vegas. Tampa Bay travels to L.A.
That's going to be a really fun game to watch. That's Sunday, right?
No, it's a 4 o'clock game.
4 o'clock on Sunday, yeah.
Yep. Seattle at Minnesota. Green Bay at San Fran. And the Monday night matchup, Philly at Dallas.
I don't know what you think, Joel, but that Tampa Bay Rams game, well, I did too, but that might be your NFC Championship game right there.
A little early. We'll see.
It might be.
5 coaches fired between now and then. So,
I gave you guys a cheat sheet this week.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? I take that to casino, Christian.
Yeah, with 6 and 10, I wouldn't touch it.
How about that handicap? All right, staying with football, moving over to the NCAA this weekend, the AP Top 10, starting with number 10 team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes take on our Akron Zips. Good luck. Go Akron. Number 9, Clemson takes on NC State. That's an upset alert. Clemson 2-1, NC State.
There's Zach.
Number 8, Cincinnati 3-0, idle this week. Number 7, Texas A&M at home against Arkansas. Another good game. Upset alert. Number 6, Penn State at home against the mighty Villanova. Does anyone know their nickname? Number 5, Iowa Hawkeyes at home versus Colorado State.
Villanova what?
Villanova Wildcats.
Wow.
I know Howie Long went there. He's probably the only person in history to get drafted.
I had no idea.
Number 4, did I say Oklahoma at home against West Virginia? Number 3, Oregon Ducks at home versus Arizona.
Man, how they've moved up.
They're looking good right now.
Yeah.
Number 2, Georgia travels to Nashville, take on Vanderbilt Commodores. And number 1, Alabama's at home against Southern Miss this week.
That's been the talk of college football, is that Alabama looked beatable.
Alabama looked beatable. Of course, last year, Ole Miss ran the score up on them. They looked beatable then, too. And I lost every week at the casino after that. But we'll see. I mean, Florida, hats off to them. They played a good game, a tough team, and we'll see how that goes. They got to go through the SEC gauntlet. Moving over to Major League Baseball with less than 2 weeks left in the season. We've got about 11 games. It is crunch time. It is like a horse race. Moving over to American League East. In first place is Tampa Bay Rays. That will be your first seed. And from there, we have a 3-way tie. We got New York, Boston, and Toronto all in the East, all fighting for playoff positions. It looks one of those teams are going to get left out. Right now, if this season ended, it'd be New York. Boston would be the the 4th seed, and Toronto would be the 5th seed. That means those 2 teams would play for a 1-game playoff to determine who goes home and who goes on. In the Central, Chicago White Sox will win their division. They'll be the 3rd seed, and out west is Houston, and they will be the 2nd seed. Just waiting to see how things pan out. Over in the National League East, Atlanta leads Philly right now by 3. That could change. Got another week to go. Over in the Central, Milwaukee will win their division. They'll be the 2nd seed. Now west, the Giants and Dodgers battling for the 2 best records in all of baseball, but one of them will be the 1st seed and one will be the 4th seed. That's how it goes.
So who do you like, Joel, coming out of the West?
For the National League or the American League?
For the National League.
Well, I think San Fran's going to win it. They'll be the 1st seed. LA will come in 2nd. They'll be the 4th. and they will end up playing probably Toronto for that one-game spot. No, I'm sorry, that's the American League. LA will end up being a 4 seed nonetheless at the best record or second best record in all of baseball.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Atlanta is going to be, they win their division, they got a much worse record, and they're going to be at a higher seed. But I think the Dodgers are last year's champions. We'll just have to see. I like the Dodgers.
Yeah.
The Giants had a great year. But other than that, it is September. It is a baseball, football kind of show in sports.
I like going to baseball games in the summer, but I don't watch a lot of baseball. But come the fall
Playoff
when you
time.
got playoff baseball, that's when it's really fun to watch. That's just how I roll.
So 2 weeks, we'll have the one-game series, and then
Yeah.
we'll have best 3 out of 5, and then we'll have the best 4 out of 7, and then we'll have the World Series, and that's how that'll pan out. Other than that, in sports, we have MMA. We have UFC 266 this weekend in Las Vegas. Other than that,
You got anything on the MMA there, Kumar?
Nothing prepared. Honestly, Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman, is that the
main event.
Yeah. Well, I don't really have anything prepared, but
Yeah.
it's one that I'm excited for sure.
Oh, that's cool. It's baseball, football right now. No basketball, no golf, no tennis. Yeah. So there you have it, sports fans. Stay tuned, and we'll be back next week.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Joel.
You got it.
So, a couple things I want to go over. My camera, Zach's got some technical difficulties going on, but I'm here. Real quick, I want to run down a little market update. This past week, dry van rates hold steady, above $250 a mile nationally plus fuel. Reefer continues to heat up. Not so much in the South Georgia area, but other places like Maine, broccoli out of Maine, apples. We were doing some apple stuff around here in the Ohio area and Michigan, but apples out of Washington, 1,700 loads per week. Potatoes, Idaho to Wisconsin, on average 342 plus fuel outbound on those. Pumpkins out of Illinois, 386 outbound plus fuel. And load to truck ratio 5 on van nationally, almost 6 to 1, 5.96 to 1. Reefer 13.55 to 1, and flatbeds 46.85 to 1 load to 1 truck. And I think Mike Doty's going to get into this in the news, but port congestion continues to break records on the West Coast. I think Ian and I were talking today about there was 70 anchored ships. 70 anchored ships on the West Coast, which is it's insane. I think there was 44 2 weeks ago. So that gives you an idea. And Mike, maybe you'll be able to shed a little more light on that. Stockton to the Pacific Northwest spot rates jumped 41 cents a mile. That's a short run, but 41 cents a mile on that lane. And Philly to Chicago, 201 plus fuel. Fuel was what was fuel this week? 41 cents again? Yeah. Fuel surcharge, yeah.
Yep.
So, and then national averages, van 251 plus fuel, reefer 284 plus fuel, and flatbeds 264 plus fuel. So, a little bit.
Are you finding those rates to be off, Mike, Russ? Are you finding that you're getting substantially higher rates than what DAT is currently producing? And by high, I mean like 420 all-in rates on reefer, and we're showing 357 a mile on dry van.
Yeah, well, I think it has to do with length of haul. These are, when they're putting a national average out there, they're taking into consideration, short and long. When we run some trucks, we run different, and we're running short during the week. Those rates are $5, $6 a mile, sometimes more.
Yeah.
And then, so I think there's a little bit of a discrepancy in it, but I like how they did.
I'm even looking at longer miles. I mean, even pushing 1,000 to 1,600, 1,700 miles is still it's still up there.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know if you guys were seeing it. I mean, and maybe we're just capturing markets like we talked about Illinois and Maine, but.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do see that from week to week when they put out these numbers. I think, like I said, some of it probably has to do with, it's a national average, so it's taking everything.
That's what I was going to ask, Chris. What markets are you seeing that out of? Because I had a tough time, man. I was down in had 2 trucks down in like Mississippi, Louisiana area, and I had a tough time getting them out of there for the rate I wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't send a whole lot down that direction, just kind of the aftermath and supply and demand down there. So we've got Mid-Atlantic. We do have a couple guys northeast, but we have Illinois. We have guys out in California coming back out of Colorado. So, and I put together a little bit of a change. I did some guys that are home every week that you'll see more Virginia Mid-Atlantic than I have some guys that stay out over the weekend. And I mean, some of the guys, we had a guy who was $16,000 this week, $16,000 on a reefer. Another guy did 13. So I'll talk about their runs, but it was usually it's directionally accurate. You understand the market's going to be higher in some areas and some indicators, and the team just crushed it. And I was putting the numbers together thinking, like, I thought that I had misprinted the data information at first, and okay, well, maybe we undershot the market, and I looked at it, and we're just way over. So I don't know if you guys just saw the same thing.
I can tell you on our reefers, Tom has, we've been working on a project, so it was round trip. Coming back empty with apples, and it wasn't out west, and those were, those paid really well. So we kind of had all of our reefers pretty much over there except a couple.
Okay.
So and that was, and I was out of the loop. I've been out of the office for a week and a half. So I booked one load this week. Matter of fact, speaking of California, I told you before, we've been running for months. We've been running SoCal, like Ontario area to the Phoenix area. And then we've just been running it like a round trip coming out of there and going back. And today I got 2,400 on that lane for Mark. And it was a couple stops. But still, he's going to be empty tomorrow. One, deadhead back. He'll be there tonight. And then deadhead back. And do it again on Friday. So we're still doing that. Matter of fact, we got another truck in there. So we got 3 trucks doing that now, dry van coming out of SoCal. That guys live over there, so we're close in that lane.
Is that ending anytime soon?
Hope not. Not with 70 ships anchored, it's not going to.
Right.
Only thing it might do is bring some trucks out of some other markets to go there and get some money. So then just those markets, the rates go up.
Get 3 of those a week.
Plus, that kind of a driver that's going to go there to get money, they're going to want the bigger money coming outbound, like going to the East Coast, which is still way up there. So I don't think a lot of people are paying attention, and I can go back and forth to Phoenix and deadhead back, so you're not wasting time. You can do it in one shift. It's 300 miles.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. So, all right. Hey,
the gold rush for trucks, right? Isn't that what FreightWave said? It's the
I
gold
saw
rush.
that. Yeah.
There's Kumar.
Yeah.
Finally made an appearance.
The winner of last week.
Yeah. We're having a little camera difficulties, but that's okay. Christian, you want to go ahead and give us an idea? I want to hear about that $16,000 week. That sounds really good.
Love to tell you about it. No, I didn't have anything to do with it. So the host disabled participant from screen sharing. I've been shadow banned from the podcast.
So he has to enable it? Yeah, you might have got revenue of the week then on the show, but you sure lost in the football picks.
Boy, and I don't even want to average those two together. So, so we were running reports to see if that was the all-time high, especially with the cent per mile. It was ridiculous, but it was a 4,000 mile week. So
Yeah.
I mean, you think he'd been done, but he was already at $5,000 this week as of today. So.
I'm wondering if I can get a share of that for having to send in the Dawson Austin last week.
Oh,
I did see that, and I greatly appreciate the representation. So,
yeah.
I have a buddy of mine that watches the show. He's like, it's got a steering wheel in front of him, and you're designed behind it. So, you guys can see my screen.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I was driving to Dawson office.
That's great. I don't know where you're driving it to.
He said it was 100
anyways,
degrees in Roanoke.
Yeah, well, it's raining 100 inches today. I mean, the whole parking lot's flooded. It is flooded. I figured I'd go through several items that I encountered this week from different conversations. You and I were talking, Russ, and you said, hey, if you got something outside of the dispatch piece. So what I did was there's several things that I encountered this week. One is I have a brand new owner-operator. Came from a company driver, new owner-operator, maybe 2 months into it. And we went through our onboarding education, and he's like, hey, I just want to get out, I want to dispatch myself. I said, what's the problem? He goes, no, make good money. You guys put, good freight. It's fairly light. Chris does a great job. I want to get out there and do my own thing. I told him I don't want to send him out to the wilderness before he's prepared for it. And it didn't mean to come off insulting, and we had a good conversation after it. But we offer two choices, right? It's managed dispatch. I know you guys do the same thing. But we don't need to have a mortgage payment behind a truck and end up failing and having to get collected.
Right.
So even though the market is hot and everyone thinks that anybody can get freight, like you said, there are regions that aren't as hot. And if you're not paying attention to the market, and I see things fall off the board all the time, and I'm wondering how did that load that get posted get removed within 10 minutes? Somebody really had to get home or get back somewhere. So we offer two, just like you do. A managed dispatch, which is basically we set up the parameters of where you want to go, how much money you want to make, how often you want to be home, what kind of cent per mile and miles you want to do. And then we basically handle all the dispatch for you. And then we have driver and trusted, which is a self-dispatch model. And I know you have a lot of people that do that. So we ran across that. I also ran across the gentleman that was trying to renegotiate reefer rental rates. I asked, if you want to negotiate, this probably is not going to go in your favor, being that I bought trailers for $30,000 less, refrigerated trailers, than I did now. So it was a discussion where he had said, I don't want to pay as much for the reefer. I'll go ahead and just take a dry van. It's just a $200 some odd dollar difference. I said, okay. I said, but what's the difference between cost and value? What's the difference between price and value? What do you got to get for that extra couple $100? So specifically in looking at the different drivers that we're going to review, there will be the first four will be drivers that are home every weekend or are home this weekend through their runs, and we're in dry vans. And then the last two were the top performing reefers in our fleet. And so I brought them in to say, hey, here's what the upside and the capability can be, just having that. We talked about home time. I had a gentleman that wanted to go home more often than he originally came on for. He said, I'm making great money. I want to go home more often. I said, that's great. He kept saying, I want to go to the house. And I said, well, we can go through the house and get you the same amount of time. You can still go home pretty much every weekend and not greatly affect his revenue. But we have to remember that where you live determines how bad that affects you. If you're in Miami or Orlando, it's going to be more difficult to get you down there and get you out without taking a beating to the pocketbook. But if you're on 95 or 81 in this area, at least, and the same way you guys look at over towards Columbus and up in Cleveland, as the heart, right, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago with Ohio, it's easy to get through, easier to get through, and you can have more home time. And the last is, obviously, to the house, not through the house, and how you daisy chain. If you do need to get back to Virginia every weekend, then we can't get you, far out west. We can't get you to California and back without having to do an A and B line and take away from your revenue. So speaking of revenue, here's driver A. Occupied the truck 71% of the time. His occupancy-based revenue was 154%, 83% over revenue versus OC. He started in Ashtabula, Ohio, went to Chesapeake, Virginia. This is Bill Phelan. He is in a company truck. He is home every weekend. Every Friday he's home. He doesn't deliver till Monday, but Mr. Bill, when he's done mowing his grass on Sunday morning, he leaves out and gets a break on Sunday night to make sure he's fresh for Monday morning. And then he went from Chesapeake to Pittston, Pennsylvania. Then we have Lock Haven to Alexandria, Virginia, and that's when he went home. He had an appointment on Friday here, so we had to get him straight back. So we had a 24-hour shipper in Riverville for him to drop off in Massillon on Monday, and then he finished off a Groveport, Ohio customer freight drop trailer to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So his total revenue was $8,250 on 2,556 miles, ran $323 a mile. His target for him, which we set up seasonal targets, was $7,500. As it is on most dry vans, is a minimal attainable target. So he obviously blew through that. And he is home every single weekend. So the next driver we have is a driver that's out of Chicago. He was out several weeks at a time, but he lives in Chicago or down in that area, so it's easier to get him home. It doesn't greatly affect his revenue. This was one of the lighter weeks for him, but he was in Independence, Virginia. He went to Pennsylvania, and then he went from Ohio on over to Indiana, back over to Pennsylvania, and then he took his weekend from the Iowa to Wisconsin, and then on Monday he went from Wisconsin over to Springfield, Missouri. Fell short of his goal. He had $7,050 worth of revenue, and he was home for a period of time. 21.51 of the miles, 328, still kicking in a dry van. Not a bad week. So driver C and driver D are both out of Virginia. They're relatives. They run on the Meadowlark. They run with Meadowlark. They're home pretty much two or three most weekends. One of them doesn't have to be home but every other weekend, but because of where he lives, we can get him there more frequently without hurting his revenue. He was in Whitfield, Virginia, down to Gator Lane, went to Indianapolis, back to Tennessee, over to South Carolina, or down to South Carolina, back up to Pennsylvania, and back down to Dublin, Virginia. So he did run 86% occupancy. He basically took us 34 hours at the house this weekend because it wasn't his weekend in. He did 129% of his revenue, 367 all miles, 82.95 to the truck. So about $700-800 above his target.
So let me ask you, are you guys still seeing Christian, Mike, Virginia? Because a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, I thought Virginia was lit up. We were doing what stuff I was working on out of there was really good. Is it still that way right now? Because
I've kind of been out of the loop for a week too, so I don't really.
Yeah.
There's pockets of it. I think there's pockets of it. For instance, we tried to get a driver off the yard yesterday, and a dry van, it was not a problem. And we sent him out to Missouri. It was $2,700, something like that. Chris had booked out going the direction of 1,000 miles. We had a reefer here, and it's, hey, you want to head to North Carolina? And that might have been happenstance because it was around lunchtime, and some of the freight had left the board by the time that we were ready to get them on the road. But at the same time, it's pockets of freight. It's not consistent. We're in Columbus. We know we're getting out of Columbus good. We're in Illinois right now, or like you talked about out of Maine. It's not an issue. But Virginia is a little hit or miss right now for us.
Right. Okay.
And we didn't have any preloaded trailers ready down the street. So, all right. And here's his brother. Very similar. $8,100, $370 a mile, 21. He did not do 218,000. I didn't take the zero off the previous. So if you look at the total miles, it's not 218, 620,000. It's 2186 on the miles. Good week, 370 a mile, and that's all miles. So the only thing that we do calculate. And so we're going to start having our reefers. So the next two will be our reefer drivers. Our targets for our minimal attainable targets in a reefer right now are $10,000 a week. This first driver came out of City of Industry, California, went to Colorado. From there, he reloaded to the Newport News, Virginia, and then he bounced back over towards Ohio, and then that would give him a really good start to the next week. $13,300 on 33.75 on the miles, 394 all miles. So he's roughly $3,300 above his target at a $10,000.
Starting your week in SoCal, that's a great load coming out of there to Denver. 5,900.
Yep, and then you just end up topping on top of it, getting back to Ohio, and then you can sling yourself west again if you need to from there. Move up towards Illinois, where the freight's banging, and shoot down southwest again. Then we had the exact opposite. We had a Green Bay, Wisconsin that went up to Maine. Sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Then from Maine, we went to Rochester, New York. It was Batavia to Oneida, I don't know. Good luck saying that. I didn't get it. Then Salisbury, North Carolina, and Stanley, North Carolina, and Louisville, Kentucky. $16,025, 4,051 miles. With how he ran his clock, and I look back over his hours of service because my concern was how he's going to run this week. He's dropping. He'll be very light on hours come Thursday night, Friday morning, but he's going to put together probably another give or take $7,000, $8,000 a week on top of it. So two really good back-to-back
great
weeks.
Week,
Is Westfield your backhaul, Maine?
No, that's not the backhaul. No, not with the reefer on that one.
So it was like a 300.
So the other conversation I had was with the time off, and we kind of get this a lot when guys do sign on, and then the market turns up, and we want to adjust the home time. And I'm all about it. If you're satisfying the bills, we're all expecting the market to stick around for a year or two. Why not enjoy more time at the house, cutting your grass, spending time with your wife and kids? just make sure we're diligent on saving as much as we are spending. So that's a fulcrum. And what we do is we have the work on one side, and then we have our home time on the other. And this is perfectly balanced. And this is different for everybody. So this might be 4 weeks, perfectly balanced for some guys, where they stay out for 4 weeks and take 4 or 5 days off. This might be perfectly balanced for a guy that goes home every weekend for a 34-hour restart, or a full weekend every 2 weeks, or a guy that stays out 3 months and takes 2.5, 3 weeks off. But this would be what would be generally acceptable without a whole stress load on their family or their bills. And as you know, with a fulcrum like a seesaw, the further out you go, the less weight you need to move it. But what I've done here is started to say, if we put equal amount of work and home time in, then it's balanced, and you always have enough money for repairs and everything else. The longer you stay out, the more you get to go home. Well, as that goes out further and further, it remains balanced until something happens where you say, hey, I'm at home, I'm at work, I'm working either long periods of time, but now I've got something that goes on at the house. I've got something that now starts to make sure that my home time is going to weigh greater than the work that I have. And when that happens, a couple things happen. When you're home too often, we know that the bills don't stop. So all of this workload from here starts to slide down and really starts to contaminate your home life. I'm not saying relational issues or anything else, but it does get to be a stressful time. And just the same, that can be maintenance and repairs and things like that you have no control over. At the same time, if you're out there and you're hustling and you're taking advantage of the market and you want to excessively stay out there, the work's the exact same. So now your home life really starts to crash. Mama's calling you, say, I love the paychecks, but where are you at? You don't have the problem where your cars are being towed off a lot and you're having issues at the house from things that you've bought, but at the same time, it's not healthy.
Right.
So we generally kind of go through this with the drivers to say, hey, whatever your balance is, let's stick with it. And in the insurance, they say frequency drives severity, that the longer that you're like this, where you're working and you're not at the house, or you go home for a long period of time and you try to get out there and just slam through to create revenue, it creates a liability. So in that frequency of small events, right? Speeding, road rage, maybe I'm not blindside backing, I'm tired because I'm working extremely hard trying to catch up for bills, whatever it is. They say it drives a severe accident. And having been a part of 2 of those in the 20 years that I've been in trucking, this is something that we preach on, that you're the captain of that vessel at all times. It doesn't matter if it's inclement weather, if something's wrong with the truck. If you wake up and you're tired, go back to sleep. We'll gladly tell the brokers and the customers that their product's not going to be there today to keep you safe. But what we don't want to do is sit around on one side because it's not healthy, right? And then we also don't want to sit around the other side because that's not healthy either.
Right.
But I'm not sure if that makes sense, but couple things that we dealt with this week.
And the balance, we talk about that a lot in here too, and that's so important to balance it, home life, work, especially in this business where you're gone when you're working. So.
And I think that's the value of a really good load planner, is that he listens to your tone when you call in on the check calls. He knows how you're running. So if you're off, he's, generally it's kind of like a checkup for a doctor. You say, hey, are you feeling all right? I noticed you didn't push the hours, and really start to ask those leading questions. So if you're a load planner and you're listening to this, it's really get to know who's in your fleet and look for the signs before they get there. I mean, and it could be a change of medication. It could be a change of season with the time and when the sun's out. There's a lot of things that contribute to liabilities on the road. And, if you care about the guy there on the phone, check in on him.
Zach, you just did that with Bobby. Gary and Bobby are 2 really good guys on our fleet, and Zach runs both of them. And Gary goes home every weekend. He's a minister, so he needs to be there for Sunday for church. And Zach's done a great job of making him some really good money and getting him home every week. And Bobby, they know each other, and Bobby called in and talked to Zach and me about, hey, I think, because he was home, every other week, Zach?
Yeah, every other week.
Yeah, and he said, I kind of need to switch things up. I think he's having a grandbaby. And Zach's like, not a problem. Switched it up and got him, it makes a difference when things change in your life. So, we got to be flexible on this end too, for sure.
Yeah. That's great that he's listening for it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, well, thanks, Christian. That was pretty good information and some really nice weeks by your guys. And I'm sure Chris Taylor had something to do with that, right?
He did. Yes, he did. He did.
Did he go to the movies yet?
It's funny because first they said we don't think there's an AMC around here, and there is. It's right down the street, but it's not they have a Grandin Theater over there on Valley View, and so I don't believe he's gone to the movies yet. But
yeah, they sent me a
but
thank you.
They're definitely doing backflips when they got it, and you showed me up when gift cards just start showing up in the mail. So
yeah, that was cool. We did check ahead and make sure that AMC was in Montana and in Roanoke. So Carol was she was on that, so we knew.
Diligent, that's good.
Yeah,
knew better than we did apparently.
Yeah. So Mike, let's get to some trucking news. I know you're sitting in for Ian on that this week.
Yeah. Let's see.
Florida man in the news. So yeah, I think there was some of the, I didn't touch on much of it, but the vessels that were anchored and stuff in SoCal, I think he had put together. And if he sent that over to you,
those people are just stuck.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm
yeah, no problem.
I'm
just
what was really enjoying your hat. Good looking hat.
This Florida man hat.
Oh yeah, 75 Chrome Shop, man. They got awesome hats.
Well, you know what Ian was telling me, that they can only anchor so many ships in, I guess, in the port area in SoCal. So they keep, and I don't know how many it was, but he said there was some that they just have to keep floating or just like moving around outside the port.
God, can you imagine how dirty that port is?
Yeah, just until they can get them. But even everything I've been reading too, there's just every day they're breaking records at the western ports, the West Coast.
Yeah, because 3 weeks ago it was 41, then it jumped to 44, and I was thinking, wow, that's a lot of containers.
Yeah.
And then you said, was it 77? You said
70 something, I believe, is what Ian said today. We were all kind of blown away. Yeah.
We need to start like an Uber Eats out there and just start shipping food out to them.
Well, we've got ginger snaps here. So
a road coach.
Yeah, if anybody wants a box or 3.
So real quick, and it's been kind of the running joke the last couple of days. We had a pallet. I don't know. There's
2 pallets.
2 pallets. They told us to get rid of them. The driver delivered right here by the office. So Ian's like, well, Ian had a great idea and they loaded the 2 pallets of ginger snaps in our office in one of the rooms, Christian. So we've got 700 bags of ginger snap cookies, and
we will be giving them away.
We've been giving them away. We actually have a food pantry coming tomorrow to get what's left.
Whoever wins next week's football poll.
Yeah, I'm going to have diabetes if we don't get them out of here.
They are pretty good.
Yes.
Okay, Mike, go ahead.
All right, the first one Ian put together was looks like over 120,000 Freightliner Cascadias recalled because the steering linkage can separate. Daimler Trucks in North America is recalling 123,000 Freightliner Cascadias in the U.S. and Canada because of the joint connecting the steering arm and the drag link may not have been properly tightened, which could lead to a possible crash.
Does it give year models?
Between looks like it should be between June, September 2020. The recalled vehicles, the 2019 Classic Cascadia and the 2019 to 2021 Cascadia. So there's 2 different. I know there's a difference between the 2, but yeah. So the 2019 Classic Cascadias and then the 2019 through the 2021 Cascadias. Yeah. So
how many? 12,000?
123,000.
Oh, that's a lot of trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The company did not regard this as an issue, as an unreasonable risk to safety until it received more reports of complete separation through warranty claims.
Yeah, up top it says it received hundreds of complaints about loose steering and a few cases of steering separation altogether.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
All right,
11 complete separations. Yeah, over 757 reports. Wow. So yeah, if you have one of those year Cascadias,
go into a shop immediately.
check it out. Yeah, really, before the steering linkage comes apart. Right, so this is interesting. Aurora and Packard, Aurora. PACCAR and FedEx team up to test anonymous trucks in Texas. FedEx Corp will integrate Aurora's innovation high autonomy software equipped trucks from PACCAR into its line haul logistics operation in Texas. The latest example of real-world testing of robot-driven trucks. So I want to ask you guys on the we know the autonomous trucks are coming, right? And this is just about FedEx and PACCAR teaming up and putting it into the real-world application in Texas. But we know autonomous is coming, but I think it's going to play out to where you have major shipping hubs along, well, let's say 20, going from Phoenix to Dallas or LA to Dallas, where the autonomous trucks are going to run first. I don't think our infrastructure is equipped for autonomous trucks right now. OTR, over the road and things like that. What do you guys think?
I think there's something to be said for that. I think I'm kind of clueless, man. I've read about them. I know Christian, you and I and Mike have talked about the cars on the road and a few on other shows. The things that my take is there's got to be training involved. I think there's going to be a driver in the trucks, just like when you're in, one of these cars these days that can drive itself. You're still a person in the car, and they still have to monitor everything. So I mean, I think that's the way it goes first. What do you think, Christian?
I think this scares the crap out of me. I love technology. I just wish that technology often fails us, and when you have 1 million pounds per square inch running down the road, I'm worried about. I mean, at the end of the day, I think conceptually it's a cool thing, but so are flying cars that never got here for liability purposes. Right. But
I just think it's a
my
long
father
way
and
away.
My father and I used to talk about it. He says, it won't happen in my lifetime. It might not happen in yours. And now he says, it's definitely not happening in mine. But, hey, by the time it gets here, you'll still be here. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know if I really want it to. I'm all about, electric trucks and infrastructure for that. Not for the environment piece, but just, for changing how, what powers trucks. But I think just because we can do something doesn't mean we should.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And I don't think, I think autonomous is coming, but I think it'll be more so, like I said, like a
point A to point B.
Warehouse.
Maybe
warehouse to warehouse. Like Phoenix to Dallas, LA to Phoenix, like that run you got your guy on that you've been running, Russ, that may be no longer. I don't think they'll take away over the road positions necessarily, but I think those runs like that, like LA to Phoenix, I think they'll have hubs where the infrastructure can handle it. But I think that's where you'll see
everything I've read over the years since this started is that there's still a driver in the truck.
There will be at first, but they'll take that away as soon as that'll be gone, because they'll, that's why they're building this,
So my question is backing. I always see them driving. I see them driving forward. Have they perfected the backing yet? The more difficult element of driving.
Well, that's why I say about like hub to hub too. These short runs or these within 500 miles. Who knows, Amazon. Amazon hub to hub where the infrastructure can handle it. I use Phoenix, LA to Phoenix as an example because that's a pretty easy run, or even Phoenix to, New Mexico or Dallas. That's a pretty straightforward run. But once it gets to one of those places, someone backs it.
Or
someone hops in and backs it.
Not to show that I'm a complete nerd, but every time I see stuff like this, I always think like, what's the future of rate confirmations look at? Like fuel surcharge, yes or no? Electric or not? Or is it natural gas? It's like, lumper services, yes or no? Driver assist, well, is there going to be a driver in the truck? What kind of detention time do we have? Truck or truck plus driver? So I think about what's the rate confirmation in 15 years really going to look like for now? Because it's not going to look anything like it does today.
How about putting bots at the shipping and receiving docks to cut down on detention?
Right.
We have
a fleet of autonomous trucks.
What'd you say, Ray?
Think of how much money that they're going to save when we do get full autonomous trucks running warehouse to warehouse, You know, it's like I've heard it said right now that the trucks right now that are being built, they're built with a driver inside of it. So they're building the truck around the driver, the cab.
Yeah.
And eventually, when we get to the point where they're building autonomous trucks where they don't require a driver, you no longer need a sleeper. You don't need all the space that you have in here anymore. And you can, trucks are going to look way different.
Yeah.
Yeah. No air conditioning system. You're not going to have all of that stuff that they'll probably go electric.
I know everybody. I know everybody says that we may see this in our lifetime, but I'll be honest with you. And it's just my opinion. I don't think it's going to take over the industry, and I don't think it's going to be in my lifetime. I just don't see it. There's too many moving parts. There's too many families on the road. I think it would take a long time to perfect that, and you might even have to build roads that are strictly for these kind of vehicles.
I think it'll take over parts of industry, but not all of it yet.
Yeah. What do you think,
no,
Jim?
I definitely think we'll see it. I think we'll see it in our lifetime. I mean, you got to think. I mean, just look. If you just go from 1980 till now, look at the technology. It's kind of mind-boggling. No one in 1980 would have even thought we would be where we're at now. But I agree. I don't think the infrastructure can handle it right now. But I think it can handle those runs, in certain areas. But like you say, I think they would have to almost build a whole new infrastructure.
Hey Jim, do you think you'll be cruising down the road and look over and get passed by a driverless truck one day?
I don't think I will.
Blow your horn.
Okay, you want my part.
I want your opinion.
This. Okay, what I see with this is going to be coming. It's going to happen. I might not see it. Some of you guys might see it. But what I see is a whole new line of insurance scam. People are going to be pulling out in front of these vehicles just to collect the insurance on it because there's no driver. They're just going to scam insurance companies.
If the truck can brake before it hits something, then you might have load shifting left and right if people do that. I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know how it works.
They will have plenty of cameras on them too.
Oh,
I'm sure.
20 cameras on them.
Probably more than that.
They'll.
And what if
You
they
can see
make
it
the
on
trucks?
this one here. It's just cameras
ahead,
everywhere.
I was just gonna say, what if they make the trucks so smart that they rebel?
It'd be like Transformers. They'd be like Decepticons.
Well, that's what.
We were just talking about that.
Only got $1.50 for this mile.
I mean, let's just keep it real. If I'm in my personal vehicle with my family, I don't want you guys know, we all know, you look down the road and how many trucks are on the road. Would you want to see that many autonomous trucks without a driver in it on the road?
I don't want to see one of
your
them.
family? I don't think it happens on the roads and the infrastructure, like you said, Mike, that we have now. I think it could be shuttle type of thing, maybe one day, between one big city to another. But I think they're going to have to build, new roads that that you just put this traffic on. I don't know. I mean, I'm not.
Well,
trust me, I don't know enough
are
about
already
this,
using them with Budweiser up in Fort Collins area. They've been doing it up there for a couple years now.
Yeah, they have.
Hauling Budweiser from
Just shuttling
warehouse
beer
to a
loads.
plant.
Yeah.
20 cents a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That up there,
Yeah.
Well, and Russ, you brought up a good point. There's a lot of moving parts.
where we're going to see it.
Yeah. What were you saying, Christian?
I was saying, you brought up a point that says there's a lot of moving parts to it, but there are physically a lot of moving parts. You look at, lug nuts, you look at, wheel seals. If you have a drive shaft or you have a wheel that's starting to go down, there's not a computer in the world that's going to tell you that, hey, my seat's starting to vibrate if there's not a driver in it, right? Or if you look out and you see smoke in the rearview mirror, there's a certain bit of intelligence that a human has that a computer will never have. And I think that is something that's probably overstated. You're right. Maybe on a shuttle run it doesn't matter as much. But, when you've got a hub start to leak and you can see a little smoke and you pull over and extinguish and cool it off versus drive the other 300 miles because that's what it's programmed to do, just make sure that trailer full of Tylenol for $175,000 doesn't mind being burnt to the ground. I think we're shooting a drive shaft out at 45 miles an hour because there's not somebody in the seat saying, hey, look, the U joints or the carry bearings starting to go.
Yeah,
I just think there's different issues they're going to have. But
yeah, I mean, and you guys all know, I mean, Joel, you remember how hard it was when we first got our CDLs and we had to learn everything on that state test on the pre-trip. I mean, is a computer going to do that visual and check everything, touch everything, make sure it's not cracked, bent, or broken? Is it going to sense all that? I mean, on a pre-trip, Ray, Mackie, you know how many things you have to look at. I mean, who's doing that?
Yeah. Well, I think that if we do go full autonomous, we're probably going to go full electric as well. And if you think about full electric engines, you're really not going to have an engine up in the front under the hood no more. The motors are going to be right at the wheels, so you'll be eliminating drive shafts as well. And that's also gonna create more efficiency in the vehicle and less parts that will break down.
Well,
what's your name, Doctor Who? What's your name, Doctor Who? Do you have a teleport to the future?
I just don't. I don't see it in our. Maybe it happens in our time. Maybe I'm wrong.
But when you got your CDL, did you think that there would be an automatic license as well? Where you're just driving automatic.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's crazy.
I mean, Mike makes a good point. A lot has changed in 20 years.
A lot has changed, yeah. But there's still drivers. There's still drivers in trucks. That hasn't changed.
And that's another thing too. If the industry as a whole went more towards electric than autonomy, then I'm not opposed to electric and not having to fuel up. I mean, as long as there's places to get it fixed and it can run for 1,000 miles or so before you gotta.
I'm sure we'll be paying for electricity.
Plug it in, but
charging, yeah.
Yeah, but the efficiency of having a motor right at your wheels, right at your drives, versus it going all the way from the hood, through a transmission and shafts. I mean, you're gonna have so much better efficiency.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's a good point.
Like a dynamo.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens if a cop pulls over a driverless truck.
That's another good point. That's hilarious.
Bring your paperwork in. How do you do that?
Right?
Let me see your license.
Yeah.
I was not speeding.
I'm leaving.
So, all right.
All right, moving on. Let's see. What do we got here? What happened?
Paywall?
Yeah, FreightWaves, if you log in too long, it makes you log in. There you go.
All right, so this is the containers. So, just how many containers are off the cart? Oh, what's going on here? I
You're
can't
enjoying the content.
I know, right? Oh, here, let me just sign in with Facebook, right?
Hey, what's your Facebook password?
That's right. You're a braver man than I.
What port is that?
That wasn't a credit score, right?
Whose trucks are those? Oh.
News. Here we go.
I was going to do it again, I think.
Yeah.
Well, we can do with. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll stay. No, that's okay.
Yeah, Zach, can you bring that story up?
But you can see on there.
I don't even know what story that is.
Yeah, he doesn't have.
Oh, it's the one about the cargo ships. Here, it's the third one down. If I forward you this email,
Okay.
if you want, it's the.
You could quickly see on there what Mike was pulling up. Man,
Yeah.
that's a lot of ships sitting out there, and we thought it was going to get a little better as we got into, in the summer we were talking about it, and it's clearly not. It's clearly just getting worse.
I guess they're not
It'd
going
be a
home.
busy holiday season.
It is, yeah.
If it doesn't get missed from transit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just there's so much, and that's that's part of the it's a huge reason why the rates are so
It's
high.
the third one down in that email I just forwarded you, Zach.
I'm sorry. I
But,
was looking at Frito
here.
Bandito.
Stop sharing.
Yeah, Christian, I asked these guys what was Frito, the potato chips. Tina and I were doing a crossword puzzle last week, and it asked what the mascot for Fritos was. There it is, Frito the Bandito.
Frito Bandito.
Just so you know.
I had no idea. It took.
What year was that from?
68.
68. We had to Google it because we had no idea there ever was a mascot for Fritos. But
How'd you know my nickname?
Ray's new. That's Ray's CB handle. Frito the Bandito.
He's got a bag right now.
That's funny.
All right, let's see if I get booted off of that.
There you go.
Yeah, something like that.
And it gives you the name of the ship. I mean, look at that. That's
Zebra.
Just, and I think the ones that are further away are just out there
I was before you.
moving around. Yeah.
I was in line first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how you mentioned the mess of.
Yeah, they're not going home.
Well, I mean, what a mess, and there's more coming. I think does it say somewhere in this article how if no more ships came in right now, how long it would take to clear?
I didn't read
somewhere
the
I read.
Yeah, I didn't read it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was this article or not, but there was somewhere in there that said, and I forget what the number was, but it basically, if ships stopped arriving right now, how long it would take them to clear up what's there, and it was, I want to say 2 months or something like that.
Needless to say, don't be afraid to send your trucks.
Don't say that LA to Phoenix looking to
to the West Coast. So that's some pretty good information. All right, Mike, thanks for sitting in for Ian. Mackie, Ray, Joel, Kumar, you guys ready?
Ready.
We got some I think we're gonna stump him this week.
No, you're not.
And
was that time?
Joel's got to throw in again.
Oh, is it time?
Confident.
Joel's got to throw in again.
No, you're not.
Put Coom on the camera here.
No, you're not.
All right, how are we doing? Are we whatever? I guess you'll tally up the total at the end.
Yeah.
Russ.
So trucking questions with Kumar. Joel and I picked out some pretty good questions, I think, this week. And I think my guys will get it.
Kumar,
let's go.
you ready for this?
Yep.
Question 1. Where should
anybody wagering?
Joel has to.
It's my all right. It's my pocket. Cool.
We both lost
As
football.
long as Ray doesn't double it this week, I'll be
Oh,
fine.
we can make Christian. Yeah, Christian lost in football. How about we do it that way?
I'll be gambling every week, man.
Oh, the last place.
Whoever
I'm going to
loses
become
in
very
football
unloyal to the Jets. I'll become very unloyal to the Jets very quick if that's the case. Yeah, I'm all for it. Come on, Kumar, let's get it done.
Has to take whoever loses in football. Do they get to pick who they're going with, or do they have to take Kumar?
You know what Jets?
Let's say whoever loses on football has to take Kumar.
Okay.
Just in
What's it stand for, Joel?
We'll start doing that.
Somebody said it.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Just in the
it
season.
stands for just end the season.
I love that.
All right, Kumar. Question 1: Where should you place your warning devices if you must stop on a one-way road or divided highway? A, 50 feet, 100 feet, and 150 feet towards approaching traffic? Is it B, is it 20 feet, 50 feet, 100 feet towards approaching traffic? Is it 3, 100 feet, 200 feet, or 250 feet? Or is it 4, 10 feet, 100 feet, or 200 feet towards approaching traffic? Where should you place your warning device if you stop on a one-way road or divided highway?
Gonna go with B on that one.
B, what was B?
B was 20 feet, 50 feet, and 100 feet towards approaching traffic.
Jim Mackey, Ray, putting your
I
triangles
lost
out.
connection. I didn't hear the question.
Okay, putting your triangles out. How many feet from your truck towards the approaching traffic would you put it? Joel, read the answers one more time.
Is it 50, 100, 150? Is it 20, 50, and 100? Is it 100, 200, 250? Or is it 10, 100, and 200 feet towards approaching traffic?
I think it's 10, 100, and 200.
You agree, Jim, or you got another idea?
Yeah. And,
Yeah. You guys are right. Kumar's wrong.
Oh, yeah.
That's just a warm up.
Warm up. Okay.
All right, question
That's
2.
preseason. That doesn't count.
We kind of spoke of this just a minute ago. All right.
I know. I remember.
Question 2. Which of the following is a key steering component? Is it A, bearing plate? Is it B, a gearbox? Is it C, a torque rod? Or is it D, a leaf spring? Which of the following is a key steering component?
What was the first one again?
Bearing plate.
All right, I'll go with C.
He's going with torque rod. You guys know about the steering components?
Never heard of it.
I got this one right, so I'm Mackie, Ray, what is it? Read the answers one more time.
Is it bearing plate? Is it gearbox? Is it torque rod? Or is it a leaf spring?
Gearbox.
That's right.
GB.
You would think, and that's what threw you off.
Yeah.
Because you were thinking transmission with a gearbox. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Good job, guys. 2-0, my guys.
All right. From last week, catching up.
Christian's like, I've been set up.
This sucks.
I came up with these 5 minutes before the show. No. Question 3. How long does it take a typical tractor trailer to clear a double railroad track? Is it A, more than 15 seconds? Is it B, 5 seconds? Is it 3, more than 30 seconds? Or is it 4, longer than the sound of the train horn?
Kumar, it's a math equation. Thinking about the distance and speed, buddy. You got this.
With that in mind, I'm going to go with C.
Which was?
Joel? More than 30 seconds. We're talking about a double railroad track. What do you...
So, Ray, Jim Mackey, double railroad track.
Train
More than
I'm going to go with 4 minutes.
5 seconds. 15
How fast
seconds.
is the truck going?
Truck's a 53-foot drive-in.
How fast is the truck going?
How fast is the train going?
Truck's going
A mile an hour.
Truck's going 20 to 30.
However fast you're dragging it.
20 to 30, 15 to 30 miles an hour, anywhere in there, you can still figure it out.
He's making a right turn.
5 seconds.
The train's on its way.
15 seconds or 30 seconds. Or as long as the...
Was one of the
So the light turns green, you're going through... How long?
How long?
There's so many variables to this question.
Did you say longer than a train horn?
Yeah, but that was a joke.
You tell me.
That sounds right.
15 seconds. I'll go with Mackie on this.
Okay, Mackie, they both said 15.
What did Kumar say?
Kumar said 30.
30. Oh.
Kumar said 30.
No,
What is
I
it,
think he
Joel?
said 15.
We're catching up.
What is it, Joel?
All right, so it's more than 15 seconds, which
correct.
technically it could be 30 seconds.
I was going to say more than 15 seconds. It's
Yeah.
30 seconds.
All right, we're
He had
really
a streak
setting up.
going, but
really
Wow.
3-0.
on this one.
I'm second guessing
So that was
myself.
not an objective measurement there, but okay.
I just like watching you lose money.
Joel took this out of his DOT handbook.
Yeah, took it.
You notice my chair's moving a lot when I start to lose money. This is not good. Yeah.
My
This is
preacher
price
handbook.
is right rules. You got to be under without going over. Is that what it is?
Yep, Drew Carey style. All right, Cleveland. All right, question 4. What is the amber-colored light for that is down the driver side of your trailer towards the bottom? Is it A, is it your half-hour brake signal? Is it B, your slack adjuster signal? Is it C, your airbag signal? Or is it D, your ABS signal?
Oh, man. You guys got me this week. What were...
Read them again, Joel.
Yeah.
All right, so
Are
there's
you
an
quitting?
amber-colored
It
light.
sounds like you're quitting.
You
What
got
was the question? I didn't get.
All right, read the
All right,
question.
so what is the amber-colored light?
On your trailer, down low, and if you're looking out your driver's side mirror.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Read the answers
Is
again.
it your half-hour brake signal? Is it your slack adjuster signal? Is it your airbag signal? Or is it your ABS signal?
Kumar?
The slack, the B.
Slack
Slack
adjuster,
adjuster signal.
It's a good
Yeah,
try.
you gotta
Good answer.
always keep
What do
that
you
in
think,
sight
Joel?
when
I'm sorry, with Ray,
Jim?
Kumar?
ABS.
Gee. I'm out, yeah. Jim, Ray.
It's the half-hour break and ABS.
Kumar, what does ABS stand for?
Yeah.
ABS.
They got it.
ABS.
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 All right.
It means
All right.
my abs are on the way.
There is no slack adjuster signal, no half-hour brake signal, or whatever else he said.
Ridiculous.
All right, 4-0. This is going to be a home run grand slam night here.
I don't have any other.
Christian's like, what? Christian's got to
I
pay.
don't think we need a tiebreaker.
Well, I think originally, if he doesn't get one right, Christian's got to pay double.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sounds right.
You send us all to the AMC theaters.
Christian had to get his Tums. He's got heartburn now.
Not Tom, man.
I'm
right.
a little worried.
What do you got, Joel?
All right, are we gonna sweep Kumar on this one?
I think so.
All right.
Hey, you guys want to do double nothing on the last one? Whoever gets the last one wins. Anybody?
I'm good with it because I wrote this one and I don't think he's gonna get it.
I don't even think I heard this one.
Are you talking about the question you wrote?
The last one I wrote, not the music one.
I don't have any others to go with it. I don't have a B, C, or.
Oh yeah,
no, it's not
this.
multiple choice.
Oh,
Oh, okay. We're just.
all right.
Just read the question.
All right. Well,
Hey, you could get lucky and pick the right
Kumar,
one.
tell me what an MC number is. What does MC number stand for in trucking?
Well, that's a good double or nothing, though.
You
That's
got
a
this.
good one.
You got this. You got this.
Remember MC
Take
hammer?
your time.
What is
Oh,
MC
man.
Hammer stand
I cannot think of like
MC number.
MC number.
for? If you look hard enough, it might be on the bulletin board behind you.
Microchip.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Could it be
Is that your final answer?
multiple
That's
carrier?
what you're going with trucking companies is
It's multiple
microchip?
carrier.
Multiple carrier.
that's what there's a shortage of right now.
Yeah.
Jim Mackey, Ray, tell him what MC number stands for.
Motorcycle.
Well, yeah, motor
Motor carrier.
You're right.
Motor carrier.
Bad motor.
5-0.
You got
Moto
you
carrier.
put multiple carriers and motorcycle. You had it. You just didn't have it in the right order.
That's right.
Man, you got swept.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, well, whoever wrote these questions can take a back seat next week.
Okay. Well, Joel and I put these together, so Joel,
Yeah.
go ahead and let's do the music.
We'll go for
question.
0 for 6. All right, 0 for 6.
0 for 6.
Run the music question.
All right, he just wants to hear my beautiful singing.
Yes, we do.
Okay, Kumar, the 1980 Willie Nelson song, "On the Road Again." And I can't wait to get on the road again. Going places that I've never been. Seeing things that I may never see again. And I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Kumar, tell me, like a what? Going down the highway, we're the best of friends. Is it A? Is it like a band of pirates going down the road? I better get. Hold on, Matthew. You got some editing to do this week. All right. So let me start over.
Is it a band of pirates going down the road?
Is it a band of pirates? Is it a band of gypsies? Is it a band of outlaws? Or is it a band of brothers?
Band of outlaws.
He says band of outlaws.
Christian just
On the road again, like a band.
Ray, Jim Mackey. I
We
know
go
you-
down the highway.
We know Jim knows.
It's a band of what, Jim?
Is it a band
I'm
of
gonna
pirates?
guess that, brother.
What'd he say?
I don't know.
He said, "Ruh, ruh, 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 ruh."
Band of gypsies, band of outlaws, band of pirates,
Or band of
or
brothers.
band of brothers going down the highway.
Maybe gypsies.
We're the best friends.
The brothers.
What'd you say, Ray?
What did Jim Mackey say?
He said,
I'm
I'll go
surprised.
with brothers, like a band of brothers.
You're both wrong.
Band
Both wrong. It's a band of gypsies.
We go down the highway. How long has that song been playing?
Going down the
Wow.
highway.
That should have been your double or nothing there, Christian, because
Darn.
they got it wrong. But
I kind of screwed the question up.
it was a bonus
Best
question.
friends.
Yeah, it was. That was.
Oh,
a
you should have
warm
saw
wall.
Christian's face. I don't know if you. Yeah, he probably saw it when you said
Did he
pirates,
get white like a
outlaws.
Yeah.
I should have
No,
picked gypsies.
That was a good guess, though. That was a solid guess about outlaw trucking. That was
Yeah,
good. I give
you would
that.
think, but
Someone
no,
that doesn't know
gypsies.
it, you were dead on. So
Yep.
it's like
Well-
they're intentionally throwing you off the scent now. That's the funny thing. It's like they're designing questions for you doing like gearbox. Like, oh, he won't pick that. He'll think that's
Yeah,
the grand
yeah,
was
thing.
that third party to
No.
write these questions?
I got that wrong too.
Right.
by
You
the
guys are
way.
tricking me.
It's a torque rod.
Well, Christian, you and Joel, you want to work on questions next week, and
Yeah, we can do
and-
that. Yeah, let's do
yeah.
What's 1 plus 1?
So, all right,
11.
cool guys, great show. Glad to be back.
How many wheels are on an 18?
19.
9
Right,
for some
yeah.
drivers. Go around the corner.
Counting your fifth wheel. Jim Mackey, Ray, thanks as always, and thanks for beating Kumar.
Also, rest in peace to our camera because it is completely dead.
So we do have some footage that Matt will be able to throw up. They recorded me a different way, so I'll be up here on the screen, I think, at some points.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But, yeah, we're getting a new camera next week. And with that, do you guys have anything else?
How many wheels does the Nation Wheeler have?
I said that, 19.
I hope Ohio State stays in the top 10 for you this week, Russ.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, they should. They're playing the Akron Zips, so I think we're okay.
Go Akron!
Is that game free?
Zips.
My brother actually won tickets to that game, so he'll be going this week.
Unfortunate for him.
Well, Akron was what, 0
they've won one game since 2018.
Yeah,
and now they have sanctions. So
that's a hard schedule you guys gave the Buckeyes.
Right. Well, they need it.
I didn't do the stream well.
They did drop 10 on Auburn. I was impressed.
But with closing out the show, Truckworx, Kenworth of Dothan, Alabama. Thanks, Brian, for all the info you give us. Over the Road Apparel, work clothes for the modern-day trucker. Prime Wellness and Performance in San Antonio, Texas, Louis Vasquez's place. And be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Everyone, have a great week, and go Browns, go Indians, and go Cavaliers.
Go, guys.